Welcome everyone to episode 8 of the NordSearch podcast. Today, going to be discussing an interesting topic, something that I'm seeing a lot more firms interested in getting advice on. I could probably count 3 or 4 separate occasions this year with clients of mine talking about entering new markets in different countries and not really having that expertise. So I'm really glad today to be joined by an absolute expert in market access. I'm joined by Paul Pontenagel, who is the Managing Director of Time2Market. So welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for your introduction.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. As I say, I think that what your business is offering, there's certainly a lot of demand right now to enter different power markets that I see just through conversations that I'm having. So yeah, I'm sure people will find this one interesting.
Thank you. So yes, we are Time2Market and we support mostly trading houses with their market access. As you said, it can be a complex market to enter for those who do not have experience. Other market participants who have the experience might not have the time or the resources or specific expertise for specific markets. And that's exactly where we help our clients. Market access consists, of course, of several elements. It can be the TSO registration to become a BRP, Balance Responsible Party. It can be your exchange registration. It can be your clearing setup, your settlement bank. There can be a license involved. And these are the things that we support our clients with, that they don't need to worry about new market access. Time is money. We buy them back their time. They can focus on what is most important to them, which is trading and making money. And in the background, we can do the setup for them to become a BRP on power, to be registered towards the clearing bank or the exchange, to have your license arranged, and that all while you can run your own business. So that is exactly what we do and how we can help profiles that you have mentioned.
Awesome. So I'd like to dive a lot deeper into, the solution that you offer, but also the whole reason for that, like the problems that firms may come up against, etc. But before we do that, can we just start with yourself, a bit of an introduction, your background, and how we got to this point where you've recently founded the business?
Of course, Time2Market was founded end 22 by Esther Pontenagel. She started it because she wanted a new challenge within the energy sphere. So she has over a decade of experience on entering new markets for the larger trading houses here in Denmark. So she had all the expertise on board to do it also for other parties. And she saw that the demand was huge in the market. A lot of trading houses already exist who want to enter new markets. But also, of course, with the whole energy crisis that we have seen in 22, 23, that has drawn a lot of attention to the market. So new participants want to enter. And that's where the idea came up to, the idea was there already a lot earlier, but to make the decision, let's go, let's start Time2Market and let's offer our expertise on how to enter new markets to market participants who need this service. My background lies in trading. So I traded the physical and the financial power markets on the short term and the long term. Also all the cross-border auctions to get your optionality, physical flows between Switzerland and the surrounding countries, UK and the surrounding countries. So when it's about trading, I know all the ins and outs as a trader. And having that combined knowledge of both market access, how to set up your markets, and how to trade them, that is just a unique combination of two sources of knowledge and experience. And we had the opportunity to combine that information, that knowledge, that experience, and offer it to those who need it. And we believe we have a to Z picture in that extent. How do you start your market registration? And how do you start making money in these markets? And that's what we can offer to our clients.
Awesome. So like you say, nice blend there of you've got the trading background. So you've sat in that seat for a long time. When you're entering a new market or how important it is for that market to be set up correctly, I imagine, and getting access to it as quickly as possible. Traders aren't the most patient when it comes to, hitting their objectives. And then you've got your business partner who's been doing that exact job, entering new markets, making them run operationally extremely efficiently, for over 10 years for Danish firms, did you say?
Yes, Danish firms, indeed. When you made the comment that that traders might not be so patient, want everything directly, that's something we can relate to very much. When we typically ask, when do you want your market access? The typical answer is yesterday. They want everything right away. But I think we dare to say that with market access, sometimes the slow way is the fast way. The moment that you want to do things very fast, you're going to miss out on points. And when you miss out on these points, it's going to delay your full trajectory. So being patient and knowing what needs to be done first, how to prioritize your things, that is very valuable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Always got to look at doing it properly. So it'd be good to understand from your perspective, like what markets you can help with and just a bit of detail there. And then we can go into perhaps like what people have to think about when you're entering a new market, the differences in different markets. There's lots to unpack there, I can imagine.
So we offer both on power and gas market access services. So I have expertise on power, being a power trader, but we also have a former gas trader on board who can help on the setup for the gas markets. So we offer both. Today's focus is, of course, about power. So let's focus on that one. We do a lot of markets worldwide, but I think it's good to scope down onto the European power markets because that's basically our home ground and where we can also offer a lot of value towards parties outside Europe. When we look at the European power markets, we basically offer all the markets that everybody wants to go to, which is just established markets like the CWE markets. We also see interest towards Italy, Spain, Hungary, Czech, Poland, of course, the Nordics. And I can say we have basically done all the markets where the participants typically want to go. Of course, there are some outliers, but there's typically limited interest because there is also limited opportunity. But what we see in the market when clients come to us with a specific request for a European power market, we can do it for them. And most likely we have done it before.
Okay. Great. So if there's a client who wants to get access to a particular market in Europe, you've pretty much got that experience, you know the process, and you can help them gain access to the
Correct.
key markets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because we have done these markets so often, we know the typical bottlenecks or issues that they would run into themselves. And that is really where our company can offer the value. We are time to market. We can bring this participant faster to the market because there are specific bottlenecks that a new participant is not aware about. And we can say it already now, they are going to fall into these typical traps that we can overcome. And it might be a specific settlement setup. It might be to be with a clearinghouse or a settlement bank. It might be a specific bank guarantee. It can have to do with certificates for a safe login. It can be specific documentation for your licensing process. There is so many of these little nitty-gritty things that you just need to know when you're going to enter new markets, and new participants don't know these things. And we have seen them before, we have tackled them before. So when we onboard a new client, we start with the prioritization. We need document A, B, C, D. We need a specific setup, and we inform our clients that they need that. Because if they don't know that they need it, and they start with the registration, in 3, 4, 5 months, they figure out they need something specific, which takes another 4 or 5 months. If you would have initiated at the start, you could start trading. And if you only initiated it when you find out you need it, your project timeline is going to double. And that's basically how we often can cut the typical registration in half when you look at the timeline.
Right. Okay. Obviously, different countries, I imagine, though, is there different things to watch out for? And are the processes quite different with different countries?
Very good question. Yes and no. So basically, the concept is always the same. You might need to have a license, which is issued by the local regulator. You might need to be registered towards imbalance settlement provider, the party that settles physical imbalances. We're talking, of course, about a physical power setup here. Then you need to become a balance responsible party towards the TSO. And once that is in place, you need to be a member of a so-called NEMO, nominated electricity market operator, simply saying an exchange. It could be ETPA, it could be Ep8, it could be Nord Pool, HOOPEX, SEMOPX, BSP South Pool, any of these. So that is the general typical timeline. But you do need to be aware that every market then has their unique characteristics, their unique requirements, and these are different every time. And that makes it such a hassle. So you might be familiar how to enter the Dutch market, but you cannot just copy the concept to enter the French market. And there you will find different bottlenecks in the French market than what you have seen in the Dutch market. So you become wiser over time, the more markets you enter as a company or as an individual. But since we have done all these markets, we have seen all these challenges before.
Could you give me like a specific example of a difference that you would see of a customer's in one market and then they're trying to enter, like it might be a neighboring country, but it's actually quite a different process?
One very simple example here is the difference between how you place your guarantees or collateral towards the TSO. When you are a balanced responsible party with a TSO, they want to see some form of guarantee that whatever kind of position you have, that you have the financial needs to cover such a position. And that guarantee can typically be in two forms. That's the options we see most. It can be in a cash account, a pledged account, where you just take your money, you transfer it towards an account that lies with the TSO. And that could be a collateral. Another form is a bank guarantee, where the bank guarantees that you will have that money available towards the TSO when the TSO would ask for this. Both are an option, but not in every market. So a specific market might demand a bank guarantee, another one might demand a cash collateral, and the other one lets you choose whatever is most convenient. So this is an example of a difference between neighboring markets.
With the capital that in that example, is the capital amount different with different countries as well?
Yes. And this is also, it's a good question because it's a question that we get a lot as well from the market participants that we're speaking with.
Yeah.
What is the required amount of capital needed to enter a specific market? And of course, you need to be aware of the collateral that needs to be placed towards the TSO, but you also need to be aware of the collateral that you need to place towards your settlement bank or your clearing bank to take these positions. Because once you trade a market, the position typically happens on the exchange, while your position in physical delivery is towards the TSO. So both have a counterparty risk towards you, and that's why you need collateral towards both parties.
Right, okay. And in the example where you have to have a relationship with a bank to be the guarantee, so that's a local bank in that country that you have to have that relationship with.
And that again depends per market. And every market, every TSO has their own requirements on what is needed on these bank guarantees. So it might be that it needs to be based in the EU. It might be that Switzerland or UK is also supported. There needs to be a typical minimum credit rating. And these things can be different for every market, and that can make it a challenge. And what you typically see as well is that the wording that is required by the TSO is different in every market, and they might be flexible, they might be strict, and that can cause some troubles. And I would like to make a quick jump back as well on your previous questions with these collaterals. Every market has, of course, their minimum collateral, but it also depends still on position size. So the more size you take, the bigger your risk gets towards that counterparty, and then they want to see more collateral. And we can help here as well for a new participant to estimate what is the typical collateral that you need if you want to enter a specific market in a specific size.
Right, okay, interesting. So just on that then, so let's say you want to enter a market in general. So collateral's one thing that you need, but what else to get through a process do you have to already have, like, or be like? I guess not everyone can be granted access. There has to be certain requirements
good point.
that the business has.
One important part is, of course, the full KYC procedure. So both the TSO and the exchanges go through a full KYC procedure where they want to see all the ins and outs of who are you, how do you operate, and is it in line with our standards and our requirements. And also very important to know is that in many TSOs, you need to be able to properly communicate with the TSOs. And that is done via technical protocols that, again, differ in every market. There it gets very technical, and companies can decide to develop their own coding systems to do such TSO communication, but that is time consuming to develop and maintain. And again, time is money. So what we do is that we offer via another partnering provider such services that we can help to quickly enter these markets, that you quickly have these technical setups in place by the service of the other party, and we can do the communication in the background. So you don't need to be aware of how it specifically works, how it's done, what is communicated, but together with that partner, we can just set them up for the TSO communication in that specific market.
Just in case someone doesn't know like what a TSO is or what they do, could you just give a basic overview of that?
Of course. The TSO is the transmission system operator. So that's the one who is in charge of the physical power grid. And what you typically see here in Europe is that every country has one TSO, although the German market is very different there. So there you have several TSOs, and they are the ones who balance the grid. And one interesting aspect that we see here is that there's, of course, different interests. That a TSO balancing the physical power grid as the highest priority, grid stability and security of supply. But at the same time, that comes, of course, with pricing, that you don't want that comes at an extremely high cost for your state. So markets need to find the balance between how can we offer grid stability and security of supply without that costing too much. And that's where the market participants who speculate and who trade can offer a lot of value, of course, that many market participants can make the market more efficient, lowering the cost for such a market. And again, here you see big differences that in some markets, there's a lot of liberty. So a lot of trading houses and speculators are welcome to take physical positions in these markets. While in other markets, it's a lot more regulated. They don't like the speculators as such. And there's a lot more strict grid code to tame speculators down of being too active.
Yeah, so different TSOs then have different mindsets, different objectives.
Exactly. Yeah.
So could you give me an example of a TSO that's not as inviting for speculative entrants?
Definitely. Yeah. So the German market is a lot more difficult in that sense, that they do not welcome free speculative trading to the same extent as, for example, their neighbor, the Netherlands. So you see quite big differences there in allowed and what is possible. And that is just also an actual topic in the whole energy markets, and especially going forward, where we have, of course, all the extra renewables coming to markets, and we want to have a green society. And what do trading houses and speculators, what kind of role do they play in this picture? And I believe there's a lot of discussion there, healthy discussion between these TSOs. How open should we be? How liberalized should it be? And should maybe, let's say, the Dutch market be less open, less liberalized, or should the German market be more open and more liberalized? These are, topics of society. It's not something that we can just answer, but we see that trading houses want to be everywhere where they can speculate, make money, also support the grid when it's needed, of course. But this is not allowed everywhere, and that makes it an interesting political topic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's, like I said, it's very dynamic. There's lots of different nuances, and it can be quite political, something I've seen as well. But especially with Germany, the most liquid market, I imagine a lot of your customers, if they're not in Germany, that's like one of the top of the list of the key markets they want to get into, because with it being so liquid. Is that fair to say, or how do you see that?
It's fair to say that the German market is liquid, it's large, and it has a lot of interest from all the market participants. But it's also important to know that when we speak with new entries, companies who have a lot of trading experience, but maybe not on the physical energy markets, they might run some backtests on data in the German market, and they see a huge opportunity for the algo to run and print consistent money. But then they are not aware on the rules locally. What can you do? What may you do? What kind of collateral do you need? Because it might be nice to make a few thousand, 10,000, 100,000 euro in a month. But if you need 10 million euro of collateral for such a position, is it still worth it? And this is often where we can help the trading houses that are new to the energy space to place things in perspective and draw the lines, because showing that you can make money on a backtest does not mean that the grid code or the system or the TSO allow for such trading to make that specific money. And you need energy market knowledge for that.
It's interesting you mentioned like potential clients that are new entrants to the energy market, because that's something I've seen happening since obviously I think 2022 happened. Firms made, like, who were already operating in the markets, made very large profits. And when you start making very large profits, that attracts other people who weren't in the space. And then I think the last 12 months, especially, what I've seen is more and more people approaching my company who've not been in the space and are interested, want to start hiring people who have that experience. I guess, have you also seen it from a different angle, where they're asking you, like, how do we want to get into these markets? How do we get into them?
So we see something similar, a lot of new entrances from different kind of profiles. We see AI shops popping up where people are just incredibly good at math, algos, coding, who just see opportunity to trade there. We also see larger trading houses internationally who get their hands on anything that they can typically trade, long-term futures in whatever kind of commodity or asset class, but then physical power and gas is still something new. And this is what we see as well. And of course, they are looking for people, but you might know as well, it is challenging to find skilled, qualified people for that specific role that you have in mind. And that's how we can help also some of our clients that we have that experience, of course. And with my background in trading, we know how it's done. So you do not always need to find directly a person who does that market access for your company, because you can outsource it as well. And I believe the best match is to find the right person for your company who can do what's important internally to develop the company, make more money, create new strategies, but something as entering a new market can be outsourced. So I believe there's a hybrid where both are adding value.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting you mentioned, so you're getting requests from trading houses that are doing lots of different asset classes and then are wanting to get into this space. So are these like large institutional hedge funds? Like what kind of business could this be that you see?
Basically, we see them of all types and sizes. So as I said, it can be an AI firm, it can be a hedge fund, it can be an established trading houses that just wants to outsource their market access because it's more cost efficient for them. It can be a new shop where there's a bunch of experience, a spin-off from a larger organization, and they just don't want to bother. They don't like it. So what we always say is that we can support any type of client because we have the time, we have the focus, and we have the expertise. And it's always one of these trees or several of these trees that the specific company doesn't have, how we can help them. And then it doesn't matter what the background of the company is.
Yeah, interesting. There is such a diverse type of entrant. Like you say, and I'm seeing that too. Like AI startups, as you say, who are pure systematic guys, PhDs in math, and have absolutely no energy experience, and are just applying their systematic strategy approach, and they're making money without the fundamentals. And so that's I guess something that probably we weren't seeing 5 years ago. As the market evolves, I imagine there's going to be more entrants to the space like that as well, for sure.
And that is exactly what we have seen. There's just a lot of new entrances. The background might be different, the way they operate might be different, but they all want to be a part of the market, facilitate liquidity to the market. They all like to support the whole green energy transition, but of course they're also there to make money.
And that's what I think that's what it has to be. I think for the energy transition to happen in the time frame that everyone wants it to happen, these ventures have to be highly profitable, because my opinion is if they're not highly profitable, then people won't put the work in, and the right types of businesses won't be interested. So I think that's the big thing. Like profitability has to be a big focus.
Yes, in the end, if a company is not profitable, they cannot exist for much longer. But we need these different kind of profiles in the transition. We need AI traders, we need asset-based traders, we need small companies, we need large companies, and all together we can make it a more efficient market.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So something I think quite a lot of people might be interested in is just trends. So we've talked about the types of firms and people that are trying to enter the market. It'd be good to understand, like, what are the most common requests that you're getting right now, or you've seen, in the last since you started, really?
The typical request is just how much knowledge do they have themselves? Those who have knowledge and experience might be very specific. We want to enter the Hungarian power market in 6 months. Clear. While others don't even know where to start. So they might say, where's the money? What is easy to access? What is very fast to access? What is technically complex to be present? What about our reporting obligations? Where are they low? Where are they high? So it really depends on the knowledge that is within the company. And it can be as simple as a very strict order, nearly enter this market for us, but also towards how can you help us? We don't know this energy market. We don't know what we don't know. So it's extremely diverse.
Interesting. Yeah, that you've got firms that are probably doing really well in particular markets. I've seen this, like firms in London or the UK that have done extremely well in the UK market or GB market, and then are wanting to enter Europe. So, but probably have an idea of what markets they want to want to enter. So then they'll have a lot more knowledge. Whereas compared to, let's say, a hedge fund or a firm that never done energy, they might come to you with a bit more of a consulting session of where should we enter. Can we just play that scenario? Let's say I am trying to enter the market and I don't know where I should go. What would you advise? Like, which market should I be in? Which one should I prioritize?
Something which we cannot say without knowing you. And this is, of course, not the answer you're looking for, but we need to see some dedication, some passion, and some goal. If you don't know what you want, then sometimes we kindly just say, we're happy to help, but try to set your vision, set your goal, because it's a different market. If you want to trade financial futures with an algo, fine. If you want to trade spark spreads and dark spreads, fine. If you want to have a physical presence for continuous intraday trading, also okay. Yeah. Maybe you want to be more active on explicit interconnectors and have a setup with JAO where you buy your day ahead or your intraday capacity and you physically flow and nominate it between two countries. And it really depends what is it that you want. But what we know for sure is that within the power space, physical short-term power, and also, of course, financial, when you have your EX registration, we have seen it all. So we know what is required to be set up and to trade these markets. And with my background, I also know where is the opportunity typically, and what is a liquid market, what is an illiquid market, which is easy to trade outright, what is more of a spread, how should your interconnector setup be with a UK or Swiss. So it really depends what you as the client want, but we can support you, we can guide you, and we have the answers to at least steer you in the right direction.
Yeah. So we, on the most liquid markets, let's say there's someone listening to this who's trying to get an answer. So the most liquid markets, we mentioned Germany. Which other ones would you say are, if someone's interested in liquid markets?
So a lot of market participants is Germany, France, Holland. We see a lot towards the DK. UK is a very large market, and these are typical markets that participants have interest in.
Yeah, and what I've seen probably in the last 6 months, more people looking at Eastern Europe who are already players in those markets, and I've heard those markets can be very challenging.
Market access wise,
someone mentioned to me Poland was like a whole different kettle of fish.
That is a very challenging market. We can confirm that. So we have set up several clients there, extremely challenging. And the question is it worth it for you to go through the whole lengthy timeline to get your market access? Also, Czech, Hungary, these are also markets where we do quite a lot of setups.
So that can take a lot longer than another market.
Yes, it can. Just do the cumbersomeness, the complexities of your registration and your license.
Okay. So what does good look like typically in time horizons for market to access markets?
Really depends on the market, but for these complex markets, easily 6 to 12 months. It also depends, do you have your bank setup in place or not? Is your exchange setup in place? But typically it starts from 3 months and upwards.
Right, so 3 months is a good result, but you could be waiting 12 months in a particular tricky market.
Yes, you can. Yeah, that's indeed how long it can take.
Let's say you're not working with someone that knows what they're doing and you kind of finding it out as you go along without advice. It can take even longer. Could you double it?
I've not seen something that takes 2 years, but if you take a very complex market and you don't exactly know what you're doing and you're not speedy enough with your documentation, which needs to be synchronized as well, that you have your full package ready in a good validity, it can take a very long time. Yeah.
If a client works with you, how much work do they have to do once they've agreed to work with you?
That's what we really try to minimize. It depends per market on how much documents is needed. But we really try to minimize how much time they need to put into it. So we prepare them as good as possible on what we need. We try to order what we can for them, but some documents might only be available or can only be ordered by the signatories themselves. And that's, of course, what they need to do. But we have clear checklists and we always give clear instructions on what is required.
But the bulk of the work, is that done by yourselves? And then when they just need to sign something, then you're pointing them in that direction. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so the majority of the work is done by them. Yeah. Sometimes we have requests towards them. We need A, B, C, or D. But typically all the work is done by us. And that is also what we stand for. We want to give you your time and your focus back.
Awesome. Well, look, hopefully that's given, if there's anyone listening, which I'm sure there is, that are thinking about market access and definitely wanting support, I think they should definitely talk to you guys. And hopefully that there is people that want to follow up after this. But yeah, appreciate your time there, Paul, and giving us all that really interesting insight.
Thank you very much, Patrick. It was great to talk about these markets. Good questions from your side, and indeed, we're happy to support anyone who needs to enter or who wants to enter this market and who needs some guidance and expertise. So we're there for them.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Paul.
Thank you very much.